Hello students, welcome to EasyElimu Learning Simplified. My name is Mr. Stanley Ombogo. Dear students, in this episode, I'd like to take you through some of the thematic concerns or the major issues that are raised from Parliament of Alls. Remember, Parliament of Alls is a play having 5 acts, and the author is Adipo Sidang. So in our previous videos, we were able to look at, the act, that is the plot summary of all the 5 acts. Again, looking at the character and characterization, that is the character portrayed by the some of the major characters we have in the play. So talking about the thematic concern, this time round, I want us to take a different approach. In most cases, I have been looking at, the thematic concerns, or rather the themes. That is like 10 in a lesson. So I'd like us to take a different approach in this. That is looking at each and every thematic concern, and that is looking for valid points, not just in the acts, but in the entire novel. So if you have been able to look at some of our previous videos, you will realize that in the thematic concerns, I normally do an analysis of an act, that is by looking at the themes in that act. But the fact that most of these thematic concerns, or most of these issues, are recurring, I feel that it is better to settle on a particular, issue than look for relevant illustrations across the entire novel. So, talking about the first issue or first theme in Parliament of Alls, I'd like to talk about that is misuse of power. So misuse of power is sometimes called the abuse of power. So when we talk about abuse of power, misuse of power, or misuse of office, etc., this basically refers to a person's or maybe a character, like now in a Parliament of Alls, who extends the power given by right of office to do more than is required. So often to detriment of those who vote him or are into the office that accords the person that power. So to make it simpler, dear students, when we talk about misuse of power, remember when you are elected in any given post, let me talk about the public posts, especially if you're a civil servant, and the citizens, entrust you with a given task, or you are given some mandate to, perform one or two duties. So the moment you become that is selfish, uh, and use the funds meant for the public to better yourself or to make yourself richer, then we can say that you have misused or abused the office. So it not only talks about embezzlement of funds, but it can as well mean maybe using the powers bestowed upon you to harass somebody, to intimidate somebody, and so on. So, talking about Parliament of Alls, a good example is the case where politicians are voted into office. Now, these not according to Parliament of Alls, but it is closely related to what we have, because remember, Parliament of Alls is an allegory. That is, it depicts some of the things, some of the political scenes that we see day in, day out. So, a good example is the case where politicians are voted into office and thereby acquire the power to protect uh, public funds, but use the same power to loot or misappropriate the same money and keep themselves immune from prosecution. That is by influencing courts. So this is suggested from the very beginning of now the story that we are looking at, that is Parliament of Alls. So in Parliament of Alls, we learn that as the leaders of all the bards, the Alls, that is misuse the power. So remember, in Parliament of Alls in the play, it is the Alls that leads the entire Bad Kingdom, and that is why the play is given the title parliament of alls. So the alls misuse the power accorded to them by other birds in the kingdom by determining who lives and who dies. So as the play opens, Osogo reveals the death of his friends at the hands of the alls during the Weaver massacre. So he also accuses Red String of breaking the law, which the owls have made apparently to be observed by other birds, but not the owls, by appearing before dusks. Then Red String jokes that rules are meant to be broken. So that is a perfect example, even of what happens, of some of the things that happens in the society that we live in. We have the lawmakers; they make the laws, but they break the same laws, and yeah, they get away with it. So they also abuse power to create laws that favor them and disadvantage other birds. So the Moonlight Law, for example, that is the Moonlight Tax Bill, curtails the freedom of other birds by reducing their twittering hours, while giving the owls more time out in the name of inspections. So there is no fairness. So also, other laws are created in the same convenient manner. Arum Tidi suggests that a law be created against hammering on trees simply that is to curtail the freedom and duty of the woodpecker, that is the telltale, the woodpecker. So remember their rivals. So this happens when telltale, the woodpecker, refuses to be the propagandist of red string. So in another scenario, both moneybags and red string use the power accorded to them to effect the murder of, that is Arum Tidi, then cover their deed. So they used, that is Arum Tidi, the ground hornbill, to perform some of their dirty works. Then upon realizing that Arum Tidi now has too much information about them, they decide to silence him. So that is another example of misuse of power. So in the same way, the judiciary is totally under the control of the powers that be. So it is the owls who appoint the police and Python, the executioner. Also, other institutions of ensuring fairness are misused by the government and its machinery, that is to silence dissent. That is, they don't want any other opinion apart from, or any other ideas apart from those that they have tabled. So the committee of vultures is used to threaten any dissent, so that while it appears there are systems to ensure the issues of the disgruntled are addressed. So those disgruntled can never dare consult such systems because they are threatening to their very lives. So here's a case where a court has been bought maybe by a sitting president, and the president himself challenges you to go to the court, that is to seek justice, knowing very well that the court is a part of, that is a part of him, something of the sort. So parliament, for example, is created to ensure fair representation of all birds. The opposition is meant to keep the government in check. What we witness in parliament of alls is quite different, dear students. So Moneybags buys the opposition and hurries through the passing of unpopular bills. So these are unpopular bills that only benefits those who are in power. So when it appears that the opposition might make it difficult to achieve this, he misuses the power given to him by virtue of being the speaker to have opposition members thrown out of parliament, then hurries the bills through in their absence. So it is like there is no opposition. So whenever a bill is tabled, then it will be passed. So there is no reason for even tabling the bills in the first place, because it is obvious. There is one perfect example in our very own country, but remember, I don't belong to any government, so I can't say something about that. So similarly, police all exists not to ensure law and order, but to serve as royal all's tool of silencing the opposition. So whenever the oppositions are up in arms, uh, the ruling party or the ruling team uses the police, that is to silence the opposition, so nothing is done. So he is severally called upon to arrest those who do not agree uh, with the government. So it is he who escorts innocent people to the hangman, that is the python, himself a threatening import from outside the kingdom, who plays the role of silencer, judge, and executioner to all those opposed to the royal owl. So it is ironic later, Moneybag's fate is determined by him. So this is a warning to all those who misuse power that time will come when tables will be turned on them. So Moneybags also uses police owl to arrest Telltale, the woodpecker. So Royal Owl misuses power in the same way. He uses his office to determine the majority in parliament, which in turn determines which bills are passed and which ones aren't. So this is well seen when the rebel owls accuse Moneybags of having been appointed from the kitchen of Royal Owl right into Parliament. So with no qualifications, uh, uh, nothing, nothing, no voting. So they're just placed. So in turn, Moneybags works to ensure laws such as the controversial Moonlight Law are passed. Royal Owl also misuses his power to reward those who please him. And this is something that has been happening. So he gives a lot of power to moneybags, which results in the misuse of parliament to moneybags' advantage. So moneybags even sponsors some of these bills that are tabled in parliament. A perfect example is that is the Moonlight tax bill. Remember, uh, it is spearheaded by Moneybags himself and with the help of the String family, uh, the red string being the dominant or the domineering, uh, helper. So Moneybags confers honors on whoever he likes. So he decides single-handedly to bring Oyundi into the Parliament of Alls and has her baptized as the Firefinch Owl in order to kill opposition to him. So not Moneybags, but the that is the Royal Owl. But remember, whatever the Royal Owl, that is King Tula Nyongoro himself does, it is through the help of moneybags. So they confer honors on whoever they like. So another thing is that the royal owl rewards moneybags and Arum Tidi, that is without consulting anyone. So he misuses his power to condemn others in the same way. So when it appears that Moneybags has been taking advantage of him, Royal Owl single-handedly condemns him to the gallows without consultation, a second chance, or a fair trial. So both Moneybags, that is apart from now King Tula Nyongoro, both Moneybags and Red Strings also misuse their powers by deciding how the public will be misinformed. So they use both uh, Telltale and Arum TD to control what the public knows. So after they use them, what happens is that they dispose of them the way they like. And that is why Arum TD dies, that is after having known too much about the government, or let me talk about money bags and company. So while Arum TD ends up dead, Telltale is arrested. So this way, the owls use their power to determine who lives and who dies. Moneybags also uses his power to control the population of the daybirds. And when we talk about using his power to control the population of the daybirds closely before we end, remember he has got some allies who are not in the night family. So that's also about that is all about misuse of power, dear students, as the first issue or thematic concern that we have. And keep it easy, Elimu, for more episodes to come. Until next time, bye.